All right, buddy. So, what's your name and where are you from for the people that might not know?
My name's Malcolm Tottenham. I was born in Derby, Connecticut, and I was raised on Cape Cod,
Cape
kind of.
Cod.
Yeah,
Okay. So,
yeah,
that's like a big fishing port and stuff like that, right?
yeah. It is. Yep, yep. A lot of
Okay.
drugs, a lot of fishing, a lot of partying.
A lot of
Not much to
bikers.
do. So yeah, yep. Bikers. Yep.
Yeah.
But
Okay. And so that's pretty much, is that where you do all your time at? Connecticut?
nah, I did all my time in Massachusetts. I basically spent my whole bit in Sousa Baranowski Correctional Center, which is Shirley Max, and I went there straight as a county inmate, like before I even got a state number because I was wiping cops down and beating other inmates up and just overall acting a fool. You know what I mean? Like
All
I
right.
wasn't doing the right thing.
Well, let's start off from the beginning. Like you said, like you were getting into. You said you
Okay,
were,
yeah.
yeah, as a child.
So
I mean, you had a pretty good house, bad house, what?
yeah, so when I was growing up, my parents fought a lot, but for the most part, it was good. I lived in a decent area. The most that was going on is a lot of fighting. Like we would drink a lot, fight a lot, fist fights and stuff like that, some stabbings. Once in a while, like this kid when I was growing up shot at the police station, but there was really not like it wasn't like a big like ghetto area. You know what I mean? Like you weren't seeing like people getting their heads peeled back. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like that. You know what I mean? It was kind of cool. It was laid back, a lot of partying and drinking and stuff like that. But so you really didn't have much to do. I just drank a lot and smoked a lot. I was a wicked pothead, and I was a skateboarder. I was sponsored for skateboarding, so I
Oh,
would hit
really?
competitions. Yeah, from here to California, I would third place was like the worst I've ever fared in a competition, and I did
Well,
pretty good.
would you say would be your top trick?
Um, 360 heel flip. I was good
Oh,
good with
yeah.
that.
That's a
Yeah,
tough one, man.
yeah. It's a wicked tough one.
Damn.
Technical trick. Yeah,
Okay.
but I was
Okay. All right.
type
Go
of kid who
ahead.
would
Go
do it
ahead.
three
Hold
thousand
on one
times.
second.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would do it like 3,000 times before fail a million times. And I get it that one time, but as soon as I stick it, I get it. Like, I was good. I get it every time after that.
Robotic after that,
Yeah.
huh? Yeah,
Yeah.
like riding a bike. That's what they say,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Um,
I mean, when did the crime come around your way? The serious
so
crime.
yeah, when I was 11, my brother passed away and my
Man.
my my home took a turn for the worse. My father started drinking like heavily. Him and my mother were fighting all the time. It was a hectic home after that. It was like it's a lot of yelling, a lot of like verbal abuse, physical abuse, things like that. And then, I love my mom, I love my father. They're still out there, they're still together. My mother's a diehard Christian. I was
Excellent.
raised as a Christian. I'm a Christian now, but my father, he wasn't the church going type. You know what I mean? He's kind of like the stoic, quiet type of guy. You know what I mean? He was raised with nine brothers and sisters. Irish Catholic family, kind of. And so when I was like 11 years old, I turned from skateboarding to partying. Like I stopped skating and I just started partying for the most part. And I started using my skateboard as a weapon.
Oh,
Smacking people in the face
man.
with it and robbing people. And
Like that movie.
yeah,
I don't know if you ever seen it, man. What was it? Kids? You ever seen that movie?
yeah, yeah, kids.
Oh,
I got no
man.
legs. I got no legs.
Bro,
Yeah,
that's a classic movie for my generation. Yours too, you know.
yeah,
So,
hell yeah.
all right.
Um,
So you I'm guessing you cracked someone with a skateboard.
nah, dude. So my first big, like when I got committed to DYS when I was 13 years old. Really, what ended up happening, what introduced me to the court system was this girl found a pipe in my backpack. Right, she went in my I showed it to somebody on the bus. I was 11. I never even smoked out of it. It was just like a pipe. I found it, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. I was 11 years old. You know what I mean? I'm showing somebody on the bus. She saw me and then went in my locker when I was in class, took it out and gave it to the principal, and boom, I got a chins. That was my introduction to the court system, dude. And from there
Wow.
on, it was like an unraveling yarn ball, bro. It was just terrible, bro. And
Wow.
so it all sparked from the dumbest things. And then, like I got a riot charge. I started a little riot at this place called the Juice Bar. My cousin was playing like a rock night. He was like in a local band, and I broke a chair, and just the whole place just went crazy. So
Roadhouse
it,
status, huh?
yeah, yeah, it kind of fell back on me and my brother. So Yeah, and then we were on the roof when the cops came, and they were like, "You too," and they grabbed your
Oh
stuff. You know what I mean? Out of
man.
everybody. So, yeah, so we were kind of like targets growing up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the target. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
and so I ended up going to DYS, Brockton Y, Goss 2, Goss 1, Howland, Faniff, Teamworks, Boot Camp, every DYS in the entire southeast region of Massachusetts. And I was like one of like the few white kids, so I was fighting all the time. And like I really didn't know much about like gang life and prison life and shit like that. I was just fighting because that's what I was raised around my area. It's like if you're tested, you just fight, and that's what it is. Like that's all we did was fight. We didn't use weapons or nothing like that. So it was like I could fight. I'm kind of like a hillbilly, you know what I mean? Like I just get it in. I did 3 years and 8 months in DYS, and like in and out, in and out, in and out. The most I ever had out on the streets was like a week or maybe a little bit more, but it was on the run every time. Like me and my brother, I'm a twin, by the way. I have a
Oh.
twin brother, Ryan. He's incarcerated in Shirley Max still right now. He's seeing parole like this week. So many
Well,
prayers for him.
yeah, prayers, man, for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Is it identical twin?
yeah, yeah.
Wow,
Ryan's happening.
man, that's
Yeah,
awesome. I got twins, identical twins. That's crazy,
do
man.
you?
Yeah, my
Yeah.
firstborns were twins, so that's
Oh, that's
awesome,
kind of
man.
cool.
I
Yeah,
always, I look at them and envy them all the time. I'm like, man,
yeah.
I wish I
You got a
had a
what?
twin growing up, man. They always got something to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got a road dog forever, dude. You know what I mean?
Forever,
Like,
bro.
yeah,
Forever.
yeah,
I don't think
yeah,
there's rarely, if I were to guess, twins
yeah,
that don't click. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. I mean,
Especially identical. But
yeah,
hey, let
a
me
little
ask
bit.
you something.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say a little bit recently we got into like this drama over, who he was hanging out with and who I was hanging out with. And because I didn't like his friends, I started like this huge prison war over it, dude. We
Oh
started
my
snapping him all out. I tried
god,
to make him
bro.
pick sides, and he just wouldn't pick a side. He's like, the more I went after them, the more he like fortified he became in his position, and like thought, like if he switched up, it would just look bad. And then I kind of realized it and was like, he's not going to change his mind. So I just got to respect his decision and kind of like deaded it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm sure you'll probably break a little more of that type of stuff down here in a little bit when we get into the
yeah,
prison side of
yeah,
things. But
yeah.
I don't know if we've said this yet. How much time have you done altogether?
17 years
17 years. And I
in
believe
adult prison.
in an adult prison. And I believe you said you did 2 different bids.
I did 6 years and then I did 11 years, 11 on a 12.
Damn, man, that's a height. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? All right, well, let's go ahead and bypass the nostalgic dark memories
yeah.
and jump right into what sent you up the road for the first strip, man. What was that? What crime
So
did you commit?
it's kind of like a Jerry Springer situation, dude. Like
Oh, man, I
I,
love
I was
those.
I was in this I was in this guy's house. He had caught me with his wife like a
Oh,
year before this, right?
no. Hold
I thought,
on.
oh yeah, I just turned 19. Just
Okay.
passed my 19th birthday when I caught my first bid.
Okay.
So yeah, but when he caught me with his wife, it was like 17-ish, 18 maybe. But yeah, so fast forward, I went to Atlanta, Georgia. I was selling coke, and I actually did like I went pretty big. I was selling like not really big, 9 ounces a week. I mean, sorry, 9 ounces a day. Sorry. So it ended up being like, I don't know, anywhere between 9,200 to 10 grand a day in profit. Like it was decent money. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But
yeah, I'd say so.
yeah, it was going quick. My area is a drug fueled area. There's not a lot to do and a lot of cokeheads. You know what I mean? So it was
Yeah, I
just
can
like
only
boom,
imagine,
boom, boom.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting kind of hot for that. This kid I was transporting, the IRS closed down this house that I was living in. And like this, I bought it off this Brazilian dude for like 2 ounces of coke and $1,000. And I was paying him rent every month. Like I had people living in the rooms in the house. It was a big house, like a colonial house. I had a water bed, wraparound leather sofa. Yeah, spiral staircase. It was nice, bro. And I was giving the guy the rent money every month, and he was supposed to be paying like the mortgage and all the house bills with it. but really he was just funneling it in pieces back to me and buying coke off me, and I just didn't realize it because he had his own business. So I'm thinking he's just, he's a carpet man. He does carpets and he's got his own business, and I'm thinking
He's crumbling the whole time.
yeah, yeah. He was falling apart. His marriage was falling apart. The reason why I got the house because he said he was moving back in with his wife, and that's why he sold me the house. But really, him and his wife weren't really getting along in the whole first place. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that fell apart for me. I went to Georgia, and then when I came back for a vacation in the summertime, that's when I hit the dude. I went to that guy's house who caught me with his wife, and I hit him with the 2x4.
What?
And
why you do that?
Yeah, we got into a verbal altercation. He called me a bitch.
Hold on, man. So you went back to smash the Jake again, even though you found out she was married, right?
Man, this is how it all went down. So I was babysitting the neighbor's kids. I'm like, time to go back to the house. They're like, oh, let's just go over here and play video games. This guy's got some alcohol. He'll probably drink with you. I'm like, I don't know if that's a good idea, man. Like last time I was there, the guy caught me with his wife and all this other dumb stuff. And so I don't know, man. I was sitting on the arm of the couch. He called me a bitch. He said, last time I seen you, I wanted to kill you, fucking bitch. And I'm like, who the fuck you calling a bitch? You know what I mean? He could see that I was getting broke, and he kind of went in the other room. I didn't know what he was trying to get. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking maybe he's grabbing a gun. I came out, and I went outside, and there was like a pile of wood, and I grabbed a 2x4, and I just put it down my pants a little bit, and I put it over my shirt and walked back in, and he came out of the room and he was opening up his jacket, and I was just like, you know what? I pulled it out while I like walked down the hallway a little bit, my back to him, pulled it out and just turned around, boom, popped him and broke the 2x4 over his head. And so I ended up getting arrested the next day. The cops hit my mom's house, they raided it, and I was only gonna be there for that night too, and I was gonna go back down south, but they got me, and that was the end of a 2-year run. I was just running for 2 years.
Well, they have warrants out for you on already.
Oh, smash! I robbed a gas station. I threw like a rock through a gas station window, climbed in and robbed it. Assault and battery with a dangerous weapon.
God, bro, you were ripping and running, weren't you?
Yeah, it was just crazy, bro. It was crazy. So many fucking it's stolen vehicles, like things like that, just all kinds of crazy little stuff, but it all added up, and they kind of just gave me a concurrent and stuck me in the county. When I was in the county, I just went buck wild, and I kind of just was a young kid and didn't really know how to handle a 2.5-year sentence. I thought that was a long time when I first got it. I'm like, 2.5 years. Like,
well, was that for robbery or something? The gas station and all that? Oh, the 2x4.
Yeah, that was the main charge was the 2x4, hitting the dude with the 2x4. And then they concurrented all those like little ones, like the robberies and the stolen motor vehicles and larcenies and trespassings and credit card frauds. And
you got hooked up with 2.5.
Yeah, exactly right. It was district court, and I was 19. I think they just kind of just were like, but 2.5 is kind of, in my head, I was thinking it's a long time. So I went in there, I was just fighting all the time, and I ended up getting shipped to Worcester County, and when I was in Worcester County, I got into a race war, and
hold on. So are you part of any organization or anything before you get locked up, or what?
Before I got locked up, I wasn't, but I became a boyo in prison. Boyo is like a Massachusetts prison gang, but we're on the streets too. I mean, I still like, yeah, boyo, B-O-Y-O. It's actually on the back of my neck right here, if you see it.
B-O-Y-O,
yeah. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, this is brand new to me, man. Never heard of this group.
It's a Massachusetts thing. Yeah.
Okay. You think it's been around for a while or what?
Yeah, it started in Walpole in the 90s. There was like this big race war between this dude Skin Tight and the Charlestown dudes and like the Worcester dudes. And then it just spread, Southie dudes. Everybody was involved in it. And at that time, there was no beef between the white guys. They kind of just stuck together because it was no racial thing. And then it kind of splintered off and became a white fighting white guys. You know what I mean? So the Boyos and then the Southie guys were bumping heads real bad, and there was like these infamous fights, you know what I mean, that kind of just defined Massachusetts prison history, kind of, you know what I mean? We're like for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
You know, now that you're talking about all this, it's starting to ring some bells, man.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I seen this other kid that you had on there from Massachusetts, right? And I didn't know him, but he would know about it. You know what I mean? I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure if he knows me or knows my, but I'm sure he's probably heard my name before. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
I
anybody who's in the system in the state for the amount of time that you've done,
yeah.
usually people know something about them. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Me personally, I went to prison twice, but you know, I was at that range where I probably could make it through without people even seeing me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, a long stretch like you for sure. Some of those guys, man, that I remember in my state that had over 10 years or more. I mean, you would see them like cycle
Yeah.
through the system, and it's almost like they're legendary figure in that state
Yeah.
for a prison system. Hey,
Yeah.
give me 1 second, man. My dog's
Yeah.
out. I forgot to put her up, and her nails are
Go
going
ahead.
everywhere. My fault, man.
No, it's all right.
All right. So, well, where'd you become a part of this organization? Jail, prison, what?
Yeah. When I went upstate, I was hanging with them for a long time before I ever became one. But there was a lot of my good friends, you know what I mean? Like I was in their circle a long time before I ever became one. It was kind of just like a close friends thing when I first
Prison.
got up there. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It was like a group of real tight friends. Matter of fact, that's kind of what it means. Boyle is just like a close friend, like not like it's an Irish term for like the Boyles, like the fellas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And I mean, if you can speak on this or not, were you like, hey, bro, I want to be a part of this? Or were they like, bro, you ready? You trying to be a part of this? Which way did it go?
my boy came at me. He was one of my good friends. Was like, look, if this was made for anybody, it's made for you, bro. So, and he kind of just brought me in. You know, I'm sure some of my friends will leave comments underneath here, and I got a good name, and everybody knows me, bro. Like, if you go upstate, one of the first white dudes, they're gonna ask you if you know Matty Tawney and Ryan Tawney, and me and my brother. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
everybody knows my name. Yeah.
Okay, so your brother, he's in the joint right now, man. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: was he in there when you went in there, upstate for the first
He
time,
was
or
my
what?
co-defendant. No, my first time I was alone. I did my first 6 years alone. And so when I started off the 2.5 years, I did with 2.5 years. I got a year on and after for crimes while incarcerated. Then I got two and a day on and after for crimes while incarcerated. And then 6 months on and after. And then 3 months on and after. Then 3 months.
What do you mean? They just added time, kept adding time to your sentence?
Yeah.
For crimes behind bars.
Yeah.
Like what? Stabbing? What? Drugs?
CO assaults and destruction and things like that. Yeah. There was
Damn.
double bunking when I like so before I got upstate and went through double bunking, I was in the county and this cop was just getting slick with his mouth, and I ended up breaking his jaw, gave him 24 stitches on his upper lip, broken nose, concussion, and I rocked his world, dude. He was this big dude, bro. Like I thought he was gonna crush me. Honestly, that's why
CO
I went so hard.
or cop?
Yeah,
CO?
he's a CO. Yeah, yeah,
Damn, bro. Would they give you assault on officer, Leo?
yeah, yeah.
Shit, man.
Yeah. I only got two and a day on and after for that because I think there was video of it and he swung first. So it's like, but they kind of just, I think that like they were like, oh, they wouldn't show me the video, you know what I mean? And they were like, oh, it kind of cuts out at the beginning. You're like, yeah, sure it does. Dude.
Sure, there's a lot of that funny money stuff around, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
Where were you at when you did the 2.5? Most of your bid.
Yeah, so I was in Barnstable County when I started it, and I ended in Dartmouth. I went to Barnstable to Worcester. Then when I was in Worcester, I got into this huge like race war, dude, and I ended up knocking out the head king in the county. This kid named he's dead now, so I can say his name. But I ended up knocking him out. He stabbed me, and I called him in the cell. He pulled the knife out on the tier, and I called him in the cell with it. And
King, was he a Latin king?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, damn. Okay, well, let's talk
to my Lion King brothers because I got a lot of friends. My boy Miz,
matter
of fact, Mort Beasy. I'm gonna give him a shout out right now. Miz, bro, I love you, bro. I know you're gonna watch this, so yeah.
That's
You
what's up,
guys can
man.
check him out. He's got a big rap thing going on right
Yeah,
now.
no disrespect going on,
Yeah,
man. Just telling your story. That's it. You know what I mean?
where he knows, he knows.
Yeah. Well, let me. How's the life in there for white dudes? I mean, obviously you're grouped up. It's probably a little bit better for you. You got some homeboys there, but was there any strays running around doing their own thing, getting attacked? You know, taken advantage of? Is that the type? You know, is Massachusetts
Oh yeah.
that type of state?
Yeah, I mean, there was always the victimized people. You know what I mean? There's that category of people that are just like in between. They don't run with nobody, or they're kind of just loners, or they're weak. You know what I mean? And like honestly, I would stick up for those kids. If they
Yeah,
were good dudes and they weren't in there for some scummy shit, I would stick up for them
that's
because
what's
it's
up.
just not right. I didn't like when people bullied people for no reason. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy, man.
if you were like a fake tough guy and you were acting like a fool, I, that's the first person I'd go after. Like that type of person, I just didn't like them at all. Anybody
Yeah.
you like showed off, like picking themselves up, you know what I mean? It's kind of just like a no no. You know what I mean?
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, let's double back to this fight story you had, man, where you got
Mm.
stabbed. How was it? I mean, did you have a weapon? What'd you feel like when you seen him with one?
Yeah, so I went out on the tier. The whole jail was locked down because there was a big 22 on 6 fight um, earlier that morning, and it was 26 on 6, 26 on 6, and the cops got their arms broken. It was a big fight. You know what I mean? Like it started over this kid. One of my friends didn't want to go. He was gonna go in the cell with one of these like outlaw dudes, and they didn't want to go. The kid didn't want to go in the cell. He told his superior, like, "Hey, I don't want to go in the cell with this dude. I think he's got a knife." He's like, "Just get him right here." And so the dude just hooks off on him. It started, my friends jumped in, and then his friends jumped in. And there was way more of them than there was of us. White people are a minority in jail out here,
Hmm.
and like a big minority. You know what I mean? So, like, we stick together for the most part. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
after this, you see where like when shit hits the fan, you see like the ones that aren't gonna, get you back there all checking in. You know what I mean? So that fight happened, and they had us all locked down. And that night, I came out for AA showers because I had already been on AA. I got caught with a knife and some pills in myself, and so they had me on AA for that. And I came out for AA showers that night, and he was on AA himself. He had just got moved from the hole for that fight because they cleared out the hole and put moved the guys from the hole out to pop that were like still doing whole time, and just had him on AA on the block. And he
Yeah.
was one of them, and he was the shot caller for that whole camp at the time. And he came in, he was coming out for showers that night, and the cops opened our doors. They knew what time it was. They opened the doors on purpose. You know what I mean? I think they wanted us to jump him because I had a celly that was, so called solid, bro, but he didn't do a fucking thing when it hit the fan. Like he just stood there. He actually pissed his pants, and I was just like, really, dude? You know what I mean? But
Pissed
yeah,
his pants. What do you mean? Like,
yeah.
okay, break it down. Like,
All right, so I
was
come
he in
on
the
the
cell?
tier.
He's scared? What?
Yeah, so he didn't even come out of the cell. I came out of the cell and I went up near the microwaves, right? Dudes are yelling, "Get in the shower. What are you scared?" I'm like, bro, come out and come to my cell unless you're scared. You know what I mean? Because like the shower, yeah, I'm gonna take my shoes off and get on a slippery surface for you. Hold on. Like, no, so I'm like, come to my cell. Dude's doors are pegged. Like they put toothpaste caps in there and they don't close all the way. You can just slide them open. And I had seen the several people that did it that when after that thing happened. So I was pointing them out, like, yo, your door's pegged, your door's pegged, your door's pegged. I was like, come to my cell. Like fuck the shower, come to my cell. And Will, I didn't know him, and I didn't know who he was or what he was at the time, and he was just a big Spanish dude walking down the tier, and I'm thinking in my head, oh, he's acting like minding his business, so I didn't think he had anything to do with it. But then he went and put his stuff down on the table, and when he did, he had a towel over his hand, and when he put this stuff down on the table, he had left the towel and there was a knife and he was carrying it by his like the side of his leg, so it was kind of concealed, but I could see it. And he kind of waved it like at me, like he was standing like this. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And yeah, so I'm like, come in my cell with that. You know, I called him a bitch. I'm like, come in my cell with that, you fucking bitch. And he kind of got in between me and the door and tried to keep me from myself because I think, he was just trying to be strategic because the kid was in there, split the herd kind of thing. But I slid past him and he cut me along the ribs. And then when I got past him, I was on my heels already. So I was in a bad position. He pushed me onto the bed and then pulled me forward and stabbed me in the back. And when the knife went in, it hit my rib and bounced up and it bent off my rib. So that saved my life. But the
Your
thing went to the
rib
hilt
saved
that
your
first.
life.
Yeah, but it went to the hilt that first time. It hit my rib, bent up, and went in my back, like along the surface. You know what I mean? And
Wow.
yeah, it was. So, but when I felt it, kind of felt like a donkey punch. You know what I mean? Like it hurt, but
Yeah.
it didn't hurt like that. I didn't really
Adrenaline
feel it. My
pumping.
adrenaline was, yeah. So I popped up and I hit him, boom, boom, and like I busted his mouth open on those two shots, but I hit him with everything I had, and he kind of just looked at me like I was like, damn. I needed to
Ah.
punch him again and stand there like, come on, man.
Ah.
Yeah, he rushed me, got me up against the wall. I had his head in my solar plex, and I was hitting him like this, but I had no, like, my feet, my one leg was up on the stool. Like, because when he got me on the back, my left leg got caught up on the stool. So I only had one foot on the ground. My cellie's standing there, literally pissing himself. And I'm trying to get this kid off me, like, hitting him with elbows and hitting him, trying to get him off me. And he was getting me, boom, boom, sewing me up like that. But the knife is bent, remember? So it was ripping my shirt and cutting me, but it wasn't going in. It was just digging me out, digging me
Yeah.
out, digging me out. And I'm like thinking I'm getting sewed up, though. You know what I mean? I don't know the knife's bent yet. And I'm just thinking I can't feel it. You know what I mean? So the kid, my celly, finally, I'm like, I stopped punching him and I stopped hitting him and everything. And I just looked at him like, really, bro? And he just snapped out of it, jumped on his back, grabbed him like this, and they fell backwards. And when they fell backwards, Will got on top of the kid and stabbed him in the face. But like I said, it was bent, so it kind of just cut the bridge of his nose. And I came with a sweeper and boom, knocked him out good. And the knife fell out of his hand, but it's like that was the end of it. The cops were running in the block. This big cop just grabbed me with one hand and boom, hit me against the wall, threw me on the bed like a rag doll, bro. This dude, his name was Tao, the big Samoan dude. And
Dish
yeah, he
ragging
had me.
fools.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
people doing longer stretches in the max are like the ones that are actually they're involved in the politics and they're the ones
Yeah.
getting it in. They're the ones putting in work. Like the counties and stuff like that. Worcester back in 2006 when I was there, in 2007 was one of the worst jails I had ever been in, and it rivaled the max with the violence. You know what I mean? Like dudes were getting stabbed every day, lit on fire, thrown off the tier, dying. It was kind of crazy there, yeah. But
You seen some people lose their lives in prison?
yeah, this dude, yeah, I've seen a couple people lose their lives, right? But in prison only two. Um, this dude he put a picture of his kids in his mouth and sat on the top tier and just the railing and laid on the floor, dude. That was probably one of the gruesomest things I ever seen in
From
my
just
life.
the second tier?
Yeah, yep. It
Damn.
was like 25 feet, maybe like something like that. But yeah, cracked his head. Is literally his head cracked open, and there was brain matter on the floor. Yeah,
Yeah.
people. I watched this one kid get on top of this other kid with two knives stabbed to him and just hitting him in the neck and the head like 50 times and telling him like, "You're dying today. I'm the one that's killing you, motherfucker. Look me in the eyes. I'm the one that's killing you." And the kid lived. I have no idea how, but yeah, the cop that got stabbed in the neck. You see that one on like the X-ray from on the news with the knives going through his neck. It's like,
I
yeah,
ain't seen
people
that.
live there, man. It's weird, bro. Yeah, you can look that one up too. The pictures are online and everything.
That's
Yeah,
crazy, man.
yeah. They took an X-ray in the ambulance, and the metal knives going through his neck, and you could see it like bent, and the handle fell off. Like I know the kid who did it, and I was in DDU with him afterwards, and he got 10 years in DDU and 35 years on and after for it. But
Mm.
yeah, that was a bad one.
Would you
But yeah,
say,
so
someone that's done a lot of time and got sentenced to a grip of time, I mean, would you say that the time changes a man's way of doing time?
yeah, when I first went up there, I could never think of myself as being a violent individual where I was like seeking to harm people. You know what I mean? Like I got pleasure out of hurting people. I wasn't like that. I was a good kid. I like genuinely care about people. I do to this day still care about people, but it kind of desensitized me to the violence. Like I just wanted to like one up everybody on the fight. The next fight I get in, I'm gonna hurt him worse than anybody's hurt. You know what I mean? Like, and it was just like a bad cycle, dude. Like, in the more you see, the less you feel about it. You know what I mean? And it's just like I went from like kind of being like ooh to like standing on the table like kill him, and it was just crazy. Not like as I got older, I seen the error of that. You know what I mean? So I changed. You know what I mean? Big time. Like when I found God, like it really I changed as a person.
Let's jump out of the prison. Maybe we could do a part
Okay.
2, 3, whatever later on
Yeah.
down the road,
Yeah.
man. You've done a lot of
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
2 bids, but you're out right now. I mean, you're trying to do this whole YouTube thing as well, right? The whole speaking to convicts, getting your story out there. Tell the people what you got going on. If people can come find you, follow you.
Okay, so my YouTube channel is called at W dash then the word number W number the W number podcast. Um, it's just the W number represents the number you get when you go to prison. I give ex convicts and people in recovery a platform to tell their stories and give their testimony to people, and try to give inspiration and hope to those that maybe don't have much at the time. You know what I mean? And motivate people to want to do better. And at the beginning of every podcast, I read a little verse from the Bible and I get into why I did that. But it's just a good opportunity for people to get their stories out there, get their message out there, and let people know what's really going on inside the system in Massachusetts and in the surrounding area. And I was just on the Bounce Back podcast. Matter of fact, I don't know if you ever heard of it, the Bounce Back.
I have.
Yeah, yeah,
I can't remember if he speaks mostly on prison or not, but
yeah,
bounce back. That's wait.
yeah.
Is he the individual that escaped Florida prison or something like that?
Nah. B Luke. His name's Bobby Lucas. B at B dash LUKE 617. He's got a good podcast too, man. I was just on his podcast and it did pretty well. I mean, like I just don't like. I don't want to sound like I'm boasting. You know what I mean? I kind of want to just let people know what's going on inside the system without
You
glorifying it.
don't
You know
sound
what I
like
mean?
that, bro. Trust me. Trust
Okay.
me.
Yeah.
You're just telling your story from what I hear. It's just an authentic story, man. And
Yeah.
just by how it sounds and my judge of character, man, it seems like you definitely changed your ways quite a bit. But like we were talking about before the interview, you're pretty much fresh out, man. I mean, you're still getting on track with things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
I just got out in 2023, at the beginning of 2023. And since I was out, I just been having a hard time, adapting to the street life and just learning how to live as an adult on the streets with no skills. Because, in the max, they don't really teach you anything other than warehouse you in a block and introduce you to the worst criminals in the state. You know what I mean? You just have nothing but dead time to talk about nothing. Nothing good anyway. But
yeah.
yeah, so you're just getting in a lot of crap the whole time. And I just I want to do something now to make a difference, bro. I've done a lot to make a bad difference. I want to do something now to make a good difference.